Hey, welcome. Today, we're diving into something that's, well, a game changer for pretty much everyone: emotional control. And it turns out almost everything we've been told about it is probably wrong. We're going to unpack some incredible new science that shows you can literally, physically, rewire your brain to be more resilient. Okay, let's get into it. So let's start with a question we've all asked ourselves, right? Probably in a moment of frustration or anger. Is getting a handle on your emotions just a matter of willpower? Do you just have to grit your teeth and force it? For the longest time, that's exactly what we were told. The old way of thinking was kind of bleak. It basically said your emotional thermostat was set the day you were born. You were either a calm person or a hot-headed person, and that's just how it was. That was the hand you were dealt. But what if that entire idea is just wrong? And that brings us right to our first section, busting the willpower myth. We're about to take this old, outdated idea apart piece by piece by looking at what the science actually says about where our emotions come from and, this is the important part, how we can actually influence them. For decades, all the advice, even from some experts, was basically just to try harder. Emotional control was seen as a test of your character. If you lost your cool, it wasn't a biological thing happening in your brain. It was a personal failing. But that perspective was missing a massive piece of the puzzle. So that leads us to section 2, your brain's two captains. Okay, this is where it gets really, really interesting. This is the core breakthrough that changed everything. We're about to see that emotional control isn't about your personality at all. It's about your biology. Specifically, it's about a conversation happening between two captains inside your head. All right, so check this out. On one side, you've got the amygdala. Think of it like your brain's super sensitive smoke detector. It is lightning fast, it's totally automatic, and its only job is to scream, "Danger!" generating those instant reactions like fear or anger. But on the other side, you've got the prefrontal cortex, or PFC. This is the CEO of your brain. It's slower, it's way more thoughtful, and its job is to hear that alarm and go, "Whoa, hold on a sec. Is the house actually on fire, or did somebody just burn the toast again?" It regulates and reframes that initial panic. And this right here, this is the single biggest aha moment in all of this. What neuroscientists have now proven using amazing brain imaging tools is that emotional regulation is a trainable neural skill. It is not a fixed personality trait. You can literally strengthen the connection between your CEO and your alarm system. It's just like building a muscle at the gym. Okay, so if it's a skill, the next logical question is, how do you actually train it? Well, that's what section 3 is all about: rewiring your reactions. We're going to look at the actual mechanics of how you can physically change your brain's default emotional settings. The magic word that makes all this possible is neuroplasticity. We used to think the adult brain was pretty much set in stone once you grew up. Turns out, that's completely false. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on what you think and what you do. Every single time you practice a new way of responding to something, you are physically building and strengthening new roads in your brain. This completely flips the script on how we look at this. The key idea is this: emotional control is learned biology. It's not willpower. It's not about forcing yourself to feel something different. It's about training a biological process until that new, better response becomes your new automatic. So how do we actually do it? Well, one of the most scientifically proven techniques is called cognitive reappraisal, and it's really just a simple 3-step mental move. Step 1, just notice. Notice the trigger and that automatic jolt you feel. Step 2, consciously decide to see it differently. And step 3, reframe the thought. So, for example, instead of your brain screaming, "This is a threat," you teach it to say, "Okay, this is just information." And get this is not some fluffy, think positive mantra. This is hardcore biology. Studies show that when you do this successfully, you can calm down that fire alarm in your amygdala and actually lower stress hormones in your body in a matter of seconds. It works, and man, it works fast. Another powerhouse tool is mindfulness, and I'm not talking about the spiritual side of things here. We're talking about pure brain science. Brain scans literally show that when people practice mindfulness consistently, the prefrontal cortex, your brain's CEO, gets physically thicker. It doesn't get rid of emotions. What it does is create this tiny little gap, a space between what happens to you and how you react. And in that space, that's where your power is. There's a reason elite performers like surgeons, special forces, and top CEOs all use it. All right, this brings us to our final and maybe most crucial section: skill, not suppression. This is all about redefining what emotional control really means, because it's not about becoming an unfeeling robot. Not at all. So here's a game-changing idea. Understanding the difference between an emotion and a feeling. See, the emotion is that instant, automatic, biological reaction from your amygdala, that jolt of adrenaline, that flash of heat. You can't really stop that from happening. But the feeling? That's the story your conscious mind tells itself about that jolt. And you have 100% control over that story. You can't stop the wave, but you can absolutely learn how to surf. So, what this all boils down to is this one powerful conclusion. Real emotional control isn't about suppressing or ignoring your emotions. It's about intelligent regulation. It's about managing the timing and, most importantly, the interpretation of what's going on inside you. And it's all governed by systems in your brain that you can train. So, the crucial point to take away from all this is simple, and honestly, it's incredibly hopeful. First, emotional control is a biological skill, not some moral virtue. Second, it's a neural process you can literally train. Third, getting better at it gives you a massive advantage in pretty much every area of life. And fourth, the best part, anyone, absolutely anyone can get better with practice. So I want to leave you with this final thought. If you really start thinking of your emotional brain as a muscle that you can take to the gym and strengthen, my question for you is, what's the first workout you're going to do? Maybe it's just noticing your triggers or trying one little reframe. That's for you to decide. Thanks so much for joining me.